I got to start off with your Cleveland Browns. How do you feel about the state of the Browns? What did you think of the partial Deshaun Watson season?
Well, where they are is they are paying premium prices for not great productivity for the most part across the line. Now, they've got guys like Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb and Joel Bitonio who are the tops at their respective positions. But they need Denzel Ward to play better. They need, obviously, Deshaun Watson to play significantly better, right? The biggest reason why they made that trade was because they've been back in the league, and everybody knows about the famous picture where the fans got all the names on the back of the jerseys. And it has been the organizational failure that has that made them feel the pressure to trade for an elite quarterback. And when he came back last year after 700 days off, he was not elite. And I think we all we were curious to see how he would play. And maybe we overestimated how he would play. And he didn't play well. You know, saw very small glimpses of what made him a 3-time Pro Bowler in Houston. So the question with the Browns is, if he gets back to 90% of what he was in Houston, then they have enough talent to compete in that division. And if he doesn't show up, it's going to be another 7-10 season. And that's not going to be good enough for Browns fans.
And I got to ask you, same division, just the Lamar Jackson situation. Do you think there's any chance that he's not a Raven?
You know, I was asked that on a Baltimore radio station at the end of the season, and I was like, no, he's not going anywhere. Like, did you see them without him the last several weeks? And, boy, the more and more I think about it, I think that Baltimore's looking for a way to not have him on. And I don't know why that is. I mean, I get that you're reluctant to pay guaranteed money or what have you, but he is such a dynamic difference maker out there. People will say, oh, well, he's never been past the divisional round, you know. Okay, he's still only 26. He's still learning. And good luck trying to find a guy. I mean, you want to have a coin flip by taking a quarterback in the first round? Go for it instead of paying a known commodity. So, you know, I think it's a mistake if they do end up trading him. As a Browns fan, I wouldn't be against it, but we'll see how it plays out.
And obviously we are at the Combine. Got to ask you, what players are you excited about? And I wanted to ask you particularly about the running back position and Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a home for him? Do you think maybe the Buffalo Bills are running back away? What teams do you think might be a fit?
Well, I will tell you this. If he gets down to Buffalo, I think they're at 27, I want to say. If he gets there, there's some teams that made mistakes. I think that kid is sensational. And I know that people are reluctant. They can say, well, we can get one in the second or third round, or go ask Buffalo how that's worked out for him, right? I mean, Devin Singletary is a free agent. He's shown flashes at times. They ended up trading another third rounder, the kid they got out of Utah. They traded him to Indianapolis a year ago. So if you want to keep running that back, fine. But what they need to do is be able to take the pressure off of Josh Allen and not make him feel like he is the main component in the running game, because that is not working for them. They also have holes on defense. So even if they get to that spot and for some reason he's still on the board, they might go a different direction. But does he have a home? Absolutely. And our guy, Daniel Jeremiah, said, by the way, if he goes in the top 10, whatever team takes him, people aren't going to be like, why'd you do that? He said he is that talented.
I love that. All right. And we are both kind of Bo Jackson guys. We like to switch it, play two sports. How do you feel about your Cleveland Guardians?
Well, they had probably the most unexpected season out of any team last year. I remember watching them in Game 1 against Kansas City. I was like, God, they can't hit worth anything. And they ended up shocking the hell out of me. They were just kind of a middling 500 team for the first 5 months. And when they hit September, it all came together. And it continued with a magical run past Tampa and then taking the Yankees the distance in the divisional round. So now they've got guys who have shown it, but now they got to prove it that they can follow it up, which in the professional level is maybe as tough as just making it, right? Is staying there and staying productive. So I am cautiously optimistic. I always say Cleveland sports fans are 90% scar tissue, so I can't walk around with my chest puffed out like this. But they are going to compete for the division crown yet again, and I expect them to be right there at the end of September.
Are you a big Tristan McKenzie guy?
Oh my God, I love Tristan McKenzie. He's one of my favorite pro athletes going, because not only is he a stud, and you look at him, first of all, you're like, dude, like mixing a steak or something. But he is a great kid. He is a wealth of knowledge. He is so smart and funny and a great interview, and he's super talented.
100% agree. And I got to ask you quickly about a team that I cover very often, the Texas Rangers.
Yep.
What did you think of the moves Rangers made this offseason? Obviously, big splashes. And do you think they could sneak into the playoffs possibly?
I think that they're going to have a chance to be one of those back-end wildcard teams. I still don't think anybody catches Houston, and if they do, it's not going to be the Rangers. It would be Seattle. Listen, I love DeGrom, but he can't make 18 starts for the Rangers, and they're going to be okay with that. They're not going to be good enough to do that. But them picking up Eovaldi, Heaney, those are guys who, at times in their career, had been really good. Maybe Heaney rediscovered something in L.A. with the Dodgers a year ago. I don't expect Marcus Semien to go homerless the first 6 weeks or whatever he did last year. So, I love that infield. I think they'll be interesting.
And in that division too, after the Astros winning the World Series, and also Mookie Betts talking about the Red Sox sign stealing thing, do you think the Astros are a little bit more vindicated?
I don't know if vindication is the word, because I think 2017 is exactly what it was. It's a year where they had a cheating scandal, and people can put it in whatever box they want, but those are the facts. They did it. What might be lost in everybody's upheaval with it is that they are a damn good organization, that they very rarely misstep when it comes to paying certain guys. You never feel like they're overpaying. And they draft and develop as well as anybody. So they're pretty good.
Makes sense. And San Diego Padres, you feeling that this might be their year too?
I mean, to say it's anybody's year in this sport, that's not fair. Can they get to the playoffs, and then we'll see? Like, the Dodgers won the fourth most games ever last year. They won 111 games, and they got bounced by the Padres in 4 games. It doesn't diminish what the Dodgers did. They still had a great season. But, that's just the way it goes sometimes. So the Padres are going to be in the playoffs. Are they going to be as the NL West champs, or are they going to be as the first wild card? I don't think they care. I really don't think they care, because they are here, they're spending dough, they're willing to trade, and I'm happy for the people of San Diego, including my buddy Daniel Jeremiah, who can't get enough of it.
All right, Chris, I'll get you on this one. Your sleeper, the Chris Rose sleeper for MLB this year. Who's your team that might take that Cleveland Indians Guardians step of last year?
It's a good question. I don't know if they have enough to make the playoffs, but I think the Cubs had a fascinating offseason. They added a bunch of veterans. Obviously, Dansby Swanson was the biggest one. But when you add guys that have done it at this level, even if they were coming off of some down times, being an Eric Hosmer, a Trey Mancini, a Tucker Barnhart, they have added guys that have been productive, have been winners at this level, and you add that with some young guys that they've got there. Nico Horner is a guy that people don't talk about, who's uber talented. Now you move him over to second base to pair him with Dansby and Cody Bellinger. That's as good a defensive, triumvirate right there in the middle of the field as you'll see. So they could put something together. If I expect them to be at least 500, and if things go wacky, if they get to 86, 87 wins, that's what the Phillies and Padres were staring at when they got in the playoffs a year ago. So it could happen.
Chris, really appreciate the time.
Absolutely.